Netanyahu knows he can get away with everything. He knows in the name of self-defense, no one will question Israel, even after the slaughter of more than thousands of children, women and men in Gaza. He knows video leaks of his soldiers raping Palestinian prisoners will not hurt Israel and its reputation. He knows whatever inhumane actions he takes or attacks the sovereignty, security and national dignity of other nations, he will get away with it. Netanyahu and Israeli war cabinet are well aware that they control the United States and powerful Western nations, and no one has the courage to raise their voice against Zionists' atrocities in Palestine. Matter of the fact is that Netanyahu and his cabinet is absolutely right. They know that Israel controls all the powerhouses. We are not the only one to point out this fact. On May the 28th, 2024, British rock guitar legend Eric Clapton in an interview claims that Israel is running the show. Eric Clapton made these remarks when, in the context of Columbia University protests, the Senate committee chairman was asking the president of the university some pointed questions, saying, "I just want to hear yes or no, don't talk to me about the context, are you promoting anti-Semitism in your college, yes or no?" Clapton said that it was the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, who was behind the investigation. It's a lobby. Israel is running the world. Senate hearings sounded like Nuremberg trials. The Nuremberg trials were a series of criminal justice proceedings held by the victorious Allies against the serving high-ranking officials of the defeated Nazi German state. Getting back to Israel's influence in the US policy making, American Israel Public Affairs Committee plays key role in building Zionists' hold. It is the largest pro-Israel lobby in America, which contributed more resources directly to the candidates than any other lobby. 98% of AIPAC-backed candidates won their general elections races in 2022, and in total, 365 pro-Israel Democrats and Republican candidates were financed. Additionally, the lobby helped to defeat 13 candidates who would have undermined the US-Israel relationship. Similarly, after taking the oath of the office of the President of the United States, Joe Biden assigned major positions to Jew leaders, including Secretary of State, CIA Deputy Director, Attorney General, Director of National Intelligence, Chief of Staff, Secretary Homeland Security, National Security Agency, Cybersecurity Director, and Secretary of Treasury were few of the important portfolios occupied by the United States' 2% population. These portfolios play a key role in implementing the Israeli policies. Whereas if we look into the political landscape of Muslim nations, and more specifically the Middle East, we can imagine that the scope of independent foreign and security policy is limited. Muslim nations entirely, or some of them partially, rely on the security apparatus of the United States. The US military has an extensive footprint in the Middle East and maintains its forces in more than a dozen countries, like a watchdog on ships throughout the region's waters. In the past year, with Israel's invasion of Gaza and growing threats from Iran, the US has expanded to deter Iranian threats. In total, the US has military facilities across at least 19 sites, 8 of them considered to be permanent, including Bahrain, Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and the United Arab Emirates. The other important military bases exist in Turkey and Djibouti as well. Out of 8 key countries, 6 countries excluding Syria and Iraq heavily rely on the US military presence for their own security, and American dominance reflects Israeli footprint in these nations, and they can't take measures against the wishes of the US. Israel controls the United States, and the United States ultimately controls the major powers of Arab nations in the Middle East. If we move beyond the horizon of the Middle East, the nations like Pakistan and Bangladesh are already under the Western influence. and either need military hardware or financial assistance from important international financial institutions. The remaining part of the Western nations, including the European Union, Canada, Australia, or Japan, are already under the American dominance. Hence, British rock guitar legend Eric Clapton was absolutely right in saying that Israel is running the show and Israel is running the world. And we have to live and survive in this world.